Hello, it's Michael. Shalom to you. Maintaining wonder in a clever world. Let's have a look. I found a tiny spider in our kitchen sink when starting to wash dishes. Easiest would be to flush it down the drain. Rather, I took a spoon and after a few tries managed to have the spider crawl onto it. Nice. Carefully, I began walking towards the balcony when after a few steps I saw something amazing. In a split second, the tiny spider suddenly hung 2 inches below the spoon on an invisible thread. How possibly could that little body release a thread that fast? In awe, I walked it outside. The little spider then let go and fell onto the tiles at my feet. What nature is capable of is incredible. It reminded me of a few lines written by Thomas Merton that always put a smile on my face. This morning, before prime, in the early morning sky, 3 antiquated monoplanes flew over the monastery with much noise, followed by a heron. I wrote a little poem. Aeroplanes engaged in stunt, brute force of swerving thrust and grunt. Frolicking birds, flip-flopping sight of grace and elegance in flight. Sitting on our balcony with the land sloping down, we see lots of birds in flight, and it's great fun. One late afternoon, looking outward towards the sea in the distance, Jean and I discussed that we read the same article. Apparently, science has concluded that all that exists originates from four primary building blocks, four invisible, incredibly small bits of energy at quantum level. That's how I would describe it. In writing my book Science and Spirit, with science stating that at quantum level all is energy, I have suggested that spirit also may be presumed as energy. Thus, it is feasible that creation is an expression of spirit, of God's spirit. The aeroplanes, the birds, and all else hold together in God. The very beginning of John's Gospel states that all of God's creative action occurs through Christ, without whom nothing exists. I can't imagine quantum levels, which derive from mathematical understanding, and surely not the creative powers of God, but I am confronted with what they involve every day. Modern technology is incredible and worthy of admiration. However clever, though, it will always be an expression of what God has made possible for humankind to discover and work with. Planes fly, and so do birds. The difference between the two in their functionality remains vast. That gap won't ever be bridged by human ingenuity, I believe. Merton saw a few monoplanes followed by a heron, the power of humanity and the power of nature in flight. Both are to be admired, but one so much more. A spider drops a few inches on a tiny thread in a millisecond. It is wonderful, and that's the crux of the matter. Am I living enough in wonder to notice it, or has our practical world driven it away from my sensibilities? Am I taking enough pleasure in my world from knowing that the Lord looks after it and that I may know Him? There are wonders to behold, everywhere, all the time. Wonders that originate from God. Some would think this is a flight of fancy. Well, not I. Keep it simple, keep it focused. I wish you well. Always look on the light side of life and call on the Lord. Download free ebooks via the link adbooks.online. Why not tell a friend?